Hi friends, today I'll tell you another interesting story. In the last couple of days, many people are feeling that being locked down is something like putting in an imprisonment. But if you go out, there is a likelihood of contracting the virus and which may lead to death. It's a dilemma whether a life imprisonment or a death. So this story is something on a similar line. This is a story of a bet between a billionaire Vijay Shah and a young lawyer Atul Kulkarni. And the name of the story is The Bet. Now listen to the story. Vijay Shah was restless that night. With a whiskey in his hand, he was pacing the room from here to there. He was very, very restless. The same thought was coming all over again to him. 10 years back, in the same palatial house, he had thrown a big party. And many influential people had come. The who's and who of the town were there. And why not? After all, Vijay Shah was a big industrialist, had a vast empire. He was a billionaire. He was a very influential industrialist. In fact, the Prime Minister of the country had invited him a couple of times to take his suggestion. And therefore, an invitation from Vijay Shah for a party was considered to be a very prestige issue for many. That day party was very big. The discussion somehow centered around a topic which was 10 years back was a very hot topic. Whether death penalty is correct, good, legally, morally right, or life imprisonment is better. Vijay Shah was a votary of the first one. He said, death penalty makes the scales of the justice even, squared off. And good from the point of view of the prisoner also. It's over. Once he's hanged, he's over. Whereas life imprisonment is killing the victim or the prisoner every single day. But on the contrary, the others were saying that a court decides on the judgment, on the punishment based upon evidences. And evidences can go wrong because they are given by the human beings. So later if they come to know that there was a mistake, there is no way to correct because the prisoner has already died. Whereas in a life imprisonment, it is possible to rectify. Vijay Shah said that it will not be possible for a human being to be in a confinement. Atul, you will not be also, if you're given a chance, you will never be able to be in a confinement for even a few years. To which Atul, the young lawyer who was arguing for the life imprisonment, was telling that, yeah, if you're given a chance, I would rather suffer imprisonment than death. Try me. And therefore, that is how the bet came. Vijay Shah said, if you stay in a confinement for 5 years, I'll give you 5 crores to you. And to which Atul retorted that why 5 years? I'll stay 10 years. Atul Kulkarni was a young lawyer, a brilliant lawyer. The very fact that he was invited to Vijay Shah's party means he had built up a big reputation. And when it came from such a young man, talented man, Vijay Shah said, Atul, please think it over. For me, these 10 crores or 20 crores or 100 crores are peanuts. It's just like it. But for you, 10 years is a very, very important part of your life. So please don't get into such foolishness. But Atul was adamant. He said, if it's a bet, I accept the bet. If it's just an argument, forget it. And therefore, both people were not willing to back up. Some people in the party tried to dissuade them. They said, it's foolishness to get into such arguments. But no avail. Both of them stuck to their guns, and it was agreed that Atul will spend 10 years in a massive farmhouse outside the city belonged to Vijay Shah. But anytime Atul is free to come out of this agreement, in that event, Vijay does not have to pay anything. And if he stays for 10 years, he will be provided with all amenities that money can buy. And after 10 years, he will get 10 crores. So it was agreed, and Atul asked for a month's time to finish off his immediate engagements and come and surrender. Vijay thought tomorrow, when things cool down, he will back up, but that didn't happen. In fact, the next few days, the talk of the town was this bet. At the end of the month, Atul came and surrendered before Vijay. They all went to a big farmhouse outside the city. There he entered into the farmhouse and agreed to be locked in there for 10 years. In the first few months, Vijay was enjoying the confinement. He asked for a lot of wine and whiskey. He was making merry. He swam. He had a lot of exercise. He sang. The books that he got were mostly romantic, adventurous books. But as days passed into week into month, month into years, he started becoming very restless. He used to often shout, scream. Vijay thought, now this man cannot sustain and he will come out. But that didn't happen. The 2 years passed into 3 years. Now Atul started learning something new. He started learning new languages. He started learning music. He started memorizing and by hearting the Sanskrit shlokas, Veda shlokas, etc., etc. And this is how the days started. As the days passed, Atul would now learn new languages. In fact, he wrote a piece in 6 different languages and sent it out through the window, asking Vijay this piece to be examined by 6 experts on languages, and they should tell whether it is correct. And if so, some crackers should be burnt outside the farmhouse. Within few weeks, Atul heard that the crackers were being burst, and he was very, very happy. As the 5 years came, he started learning on science. He started reading more from chemistry, physics, biology, etc., etc. He tried to make few experiments also. As 7 and 8 and 9 years started coming, he was more now interested in philosophy, into theology, into things like what the man is made for, the God, the creation. He was much more sober now. He used to sit in Padmasana for hours together. And now the 10 year was also to be over. Tomorrow morning, he will be a free man. But things in the 10 years had been very difficult for Vijay Shah. In the last couple of years, his business has floundered. He had accumulated a lot of loss. He had a huge debt on his head. There were many lawsuits on him. People who were once his buddies were not responding to his telephone calls. Recently, when he went to a cricket match, people booed him as chor hai, chor hai. And today he's thinking, where shall I get him 10 crores? Today, every rupee is important for me. That day was different. Tomorrow, Atul will be a free man. He's still young, comparatively young, even after 10 years. He will marry now. He'll start a new life. But if I give 10 crores, I'll be total pauper. I'll be declared a bankrupt. I don't know why this man, in spite of so much of difficulty, did not even commit suicide. Suicide? A thought came into Vijay's mind. Why not kill him? And then say that he committed suicide out of boredom. So he takes his revolver, drives to the farmhouse. He opens the door. There is complete silence. He enters the room of Atul. He doesn't find him on his bed. He tries to search here and there. No. And then he finds a letter written by Atul. And then he starts reading it. Tears start rolling from his eyes. There, Atul had written, "My dear Vijay, in another few hours, I will be a free man. After I completed my 10 years of confinement, I'll get 10 crores also. I'll start a new life. But in the last 10 years, I have studied a lot. I've introspected a lot. Now it looks I don't need your 10 crores. I don't need anything from you now. I know the purpose of my life. I know what I am. I know what I should do to the society, to this creation. And therefore, to relieve you from your suffering, I am breaking the bet and going away few hours before it is all over. You don't have to pay me anything. Please don't try to search me also. I want to lead a more purposeful, beautiful life hereafter. Thanks for all that you did. Thank you very much." Now, Vijay started sobbing. He didn't know what to do. The thought came to him, who really won the bet? Me or him? Friends, this is a story of a similar name, bet, written by a Russian author by name Anton Chekhov, a very, very famous author. Chekhov has written many wonderful stories. I have just modified it to suit the present circumstances. It is his story. And I am sure you will like the story, but more importantly, it has also made you to think life is much more wonderful. Life is what Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. A few months, a few weeks of confinement should not deter us from living our life. Friends, if you like this story, share with your friends. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get some new updates. Thanks for listening to this story, The Bet. Thank you very much.